Ladies and gentlemen, today let us ponder a timeless observation. Why is it that man seldom succeeds before the age of 40? It is not a statement of discouragement, but an invitation to reflection, a reminder that success in its truest form does not yield to the whims of haste. In our younger years, we chase the illusion of immediate mastery. We mistake the acquisition of skills for the refinement of wisdom, forgetting that mastery is not granted but earned through years of dedicated practice. The brilliance of youth often burns brightly but fleetingly, for it is not yet tempered by the deeper understanding that comes with time. As we step into the world, armed with ambition, we quickly encounter the collision of expectations and reality. What seemed clear in theory becomes tangled in complexity. These early struggles are not failures but lessons, essential recalibrations that allow us to navigate life with a more grounded sense of purpose. Failure, though bitter, becomes the soil from which wisdom grows. It teaches us resilience, humility, and the art of adaptation. Through failure, we shed the naive belief that success is a straight path. We learn to embrace detours, to see setbacks not as roadblocks but as stepping stones. In this journey, another transformation unfolds, the evolution of authenticity. In our younger years, we pursue goals shaped by the expectations of others. But true success that satisfies the soul emerges only when we align our actions with who we truly are. This discovery of self is not an overnight revelation, but the gradual unfolding of a deeper understanding of what matters most. Patience, too, is a virtue we learn with age. The urgency of youth often blinds us to the beauty of persistence. It takes years to recognize that slow, deliberate growth is often more enduring than rapid, fleeting triumphs. By the time we reach 40, something remarkable happens. Our vision matures. What once felt distant and unclear becomes focused. Our efforts, no longer scattered, converge with precision. And so success becomes not just an external achievement, but an internal harmony, a synthesis of wisdom, experience, and purpose. So let us not lament the years it takes to succeed, but embrace them as a necessary journey. For in those years we do not merely achieve, we become. Thank you. Mastery is not something that can be achieved overnight, nor is it a prize that can be handed out for a brief show of effort. It is a process, a journey that demands dedication, time, and the ability to withstand the slow, deliberate unfolding of skill and understanding. When we are young, we often fall prey to the illusion that success is just around the corner, that it can be captured with a single burst of energy or an inspired effort. This misconception is fueled by the stories we hear of prodigies and overnight successes, which are often exaggerated or simplified to fit the narrative we long to believe. However, the reality is far more nuanced and complex. In our early years, there is a certain impatience that comes with the hunger to prove ourselves. This impatience blinds us to the intricate layers of knowledge and experience required for true mastery. We often mistake superficial accomplishments for deep competence. For example, a young artist who quickly gains recognition for a particular piece may be lauded for their talent, but the depth of their artistry has yet to be tested. The ability to create something truly timeless requires years of experimenting, failing, and refining one's craft. The same applies to any field, whether it be business, science, athletics, or personal development. Initial success may bring a sense of validation, but it rarely represents the culmination of one's potential. The impatience of youth is further exacerbated by the societal pressure to achieve early. In a world that increasingly celebrates speed and instant results, there is little room for the slower rhythms of genuine growth. We are inundated with stories of young entrepreneurs who revolutionized industries in their 20s, or athletes who reached the pinnacle of their sport while barely out of adolescence. These narratives, while inspiring, fail to account for the broader spectrum of human achievement. They create a distorted picture that emphasizes the exceptions rather than the norm. The truth is, the journey to mastery is marked by a deep engagement with the process itself. It involves a willingness to immerse oneself in the nuances of a field, to explore its corners and crevices, and to confront the inevitable challenges that arise along the way. This kind of engagement cannot be rushed. It requires time to not only build technical proficiency, but also to develop the broader perspective and intuition that come with experience. A young musician, for instance, may master the notes of a complex composition, But it takes years of playing and living to truly convey the emotions embedded within the music. Similarly, a young entrepreneur may understand the mechanics of launching a startup, but it takes repeated cycles of success and failure to grasp the intricacies of building a sustainable enterprise. The illusion of immediate mastery is also tied to the human tendency to undervalue the unseen aspects of success. When we look at a skilled performer, a successful business person, or a revered leader, we often focus on their visible achievements without considering the countless hours of practice, experimentation, and reflection that underpin their accomplishments. The polished presentation we admire is merely the tip of the iceberg. The true foundation lies beneath the surface, hidden from view. This misunderstanding leads many young individuals to believe that they can replicate success by mimicking its outward manifestations, without fully appreciating the depth of effort required. Moreover, the pursuit of mastery is not a linear process. It is filled with detours, setbacks, and moments of doubt. These experiences are not merely obstacles to be overcome, they are integral to the journey itself. Each failure, each moment of frustration, serves as a lesson that deepens one's understanding and sharpens one's abilities. However, the ability to recognize and embrace these lessons often comes with maturity. When we are young, our impatience and overconfidence can make us resistant to the very experiences that are most valuable for our growth. It is only with time that we begin to see the wisdom in the challenges we face. Another crucial aspect of mastery is the cultivation of humility. In our early years, it is easy to be swept up by the excitement of initial successes. We may begin to believe that we have already arrived, that we have nothing more to learn. This sense of complacency is a significant barrier to growth. True mastery requires an ongoing commitment to learning, a recognition that there is always more to discover. It is a mindset that is often forged through years of effort, as the superficial layers of understanding give way to a deeper appreciation of the complexities involved. Finally, it is important to acknowledge the role of time itself in the process of mastering anything. Time allows for the gradual accumulation of experience and the integration of knowledge in ways that cannot be forced or hurried. It provides the space for ideas to mature, for skills to become second nature, and for intuition to develop. This kind of organic growth cannot be replicated through shortcuts or quick fixes. It is a slow, deliberate unfolding that requires patience, perseverance, and a deep respect for the process. When one first ventures into the wider world, ambitions often shine brightly, fueled by a sense of boundless potential and the belief that anything is possible. Youthful energy drives us to set high expectations, often envisioning an almost linear path from effort to success. This idealism, while inspiring, is frequently met with the stark realities of a world far more complex and multifaceted than imagined. The collision between these lofty expectations and the intricate, unpredictable nature of reality is one of the most profound experiences in early adulthood. At the heart of this clash lies a fundamental misunderstanding of how the world operates. When we are young, we tend to oversimplify the pathways to success. We believe that talent, hard work, or a great idea alone will suffice to propel us toward our goals. But as we step into the practicalities of real-world scenarios, we encounter layers of complexity that challenge our assumptions. A new entrepreneur, for instance, might assume that a unique product or service guarantees success, only to discover that navigating supply chains, managing cash flow, and understanding customer behavior are equally critical, if not more so. Similarly, a young professional might assume that excelling in their job will naturally lead to promotions and recognition, only to find that interpersonal dynamics, networking, and timing play significant roles in shaping their career trajectory. This disconnect between expectation and reality can be deeply disheartening. When the outcomes of our efforts fall short of what we envisioned, it is easy to interpret these experiences as failures. Many young individuals, faced with these moments of disappointment, question their abilities or even their worth. Yet these experiences are not signs of inadequacy, rather, they are inevitable steps in the process of understanding how the world truly functions. Disappointment becomes a necessary teacher, guiding us to recalibrate our approach and refine our understanding of what it takes to succeed. In this process of recalibration, we begin to develop a more nuanced perspective. We start to recognize that the journey to success is rarely straightforward. It is filled with unexpected twists and turns, requiring flexibility and adaptability. The rigid expectations we held in our youth give way to a more fluid approach, one that allows for adjustments and embraces the uncertainty inherent in any meaningful pursuit. This shift in perspective is not merely a pragmatic response to challenges, it is also a sign of maturity, an acknowledgement that the world is more intricate than we initially believed. One of the key realizations that arises from this recalibration is the importance of context. In our early years, we often view success as a universal concept, something that can be achieved by following a predefined formula. However, as we encounter the diverse circumstances and variables that influence outcomes, we begin to understand that success is deeply contextual. What works in one situation may not work in another, and what appears to be a failure in one context may lay the groundwork for success in the future. This understanding prompts us to move beyond the simplistic notion of success as a destination and embrace it as a dynamic, evolving process. Another crucial lesson that emerges from this collision of expectations and reality is the value of resilience. The initial shocks of unmet expectations can be jarring, but they also serve as opportunities to build strength and perseverance. Each challenge we face, each setback we endure, adds to our reservoir of experience and fortitude. Over time, we learn to approach obstacles not as insurmountable barriers, but as opportunities to grow and adapt. This resilience becomes a cornerstone of our ability to navigate the complexities of the world, allowing us to persevere even when the path ahead seems uncertain. In this journey of reconciling expectations with reality, we also come to appreciate the role of others in shaping our success. In our younger years, we often adopt a solitary mindset, believing that individual effort and talent are the primary drivers of achievement. However, as we engage with the broader world, we come to understand the importance of collaboration, mentorship, and community. Success is rarely the result of isolated effort, it is often the product of collective contributions and shared endeavors. This realization not only broadens our perspective, but also deepens our appreciation for the relationships and networks that support our growth. The collision of expectations and reality also prompts us to redefine our goals and aspirations. In our youth, our ambitions are often shaped by external influences, societal norms, parental expectations, or cultural ideals. These influences, while well-intentioned, can sometimes lead us to pursue goals that are not truly aligned with our values or passions. As we confront the realities of the world, we are forced to question these externally imposed aspirations and seek a deeper understanding of what success means to us personally. This process of self-discovery is both challenging and liberating, as it allows us to move beyond superficial definitions of success and pursue paths that are more authentic and fulfilling. The journey of reconciling expectations with reality is not without its struggles. It is marked by moments of doubt, frustration, and even despair. However, it is through these struggles that we develop the clarity and insight needed to navigate the complexities of life. The initial collision, though painful, serves as the catalyst for growth, pushing us to question our assumptions, broaden our perspectives, and embrace the realities of the world with courage and determination. In doing so, we begin to lay the foundation for a more meaningful and sustainable form of success. Failure is a word that often carries a heavy burden, particularly for those in the early stages of their lives and careers. It looms like a shadow over ambition, serving as both a warning and a deterrent. Yet it is failure that becomes the most profound teacher, shaping us in ways that success never can. The reality of human development is that growth often emerges not in moments of triumph, but in the aftermath of setbacks. The lessons learned from failure are the foundation upon which resilience, self-awareness, and adaptability are built, each critical to the journey toward lasting success. In youth, failure can feel catastrophic. The weight of unmet expectations, whether self-imposed or derived from external pressures, often results in feelings of inadequacy. The sting of rejection or the disappointment of falling short can seem overwhelming, particularly when paired with the naive belief that one should succeed on the first attempt. This belief, though common, fails to account for the complexity of the learning process. Mastery of any discipline, whether personal, professional, or creative, requires repeated attempts, each filled with inevitable mistakes. These mistakes are not marks of incompetence, but necessary steps toward understanding. One of the most valuable aspects of failure is its ability to reveal our limitations. It is easy to become overconfident in youth, buoyed by the illusion that talent or effort alone will suffice to overcome challenges. Failure shatters this illusion, forcing us to confront the gaps in our knowledge, skills, and strategies. This confrontation is uncomfortable but essential. It compels us to look inward, to analyze where we went wrong, and to seek ways to improve. In doing so, we cultivate a sense of humility, a recognition that there is always more to learn, and that true competence requires continuous effort. Failure also serves as a test of character. In moments of adversity, our ability to persevere is challenged. Do we give up, retreating into a shell of self-doubt? Or do we rise to the occasion, determined to try again with renewed vigor? The answer to this question often defines the trajectory of our growth. Resilience is not an inherent trait, but a skill developed through repeated exposure to difficulty. Each failure, no matter how small, becomes an opportunity to strengthen our resolve and expand our capacity to endure hardship. Over time, this resilience transforms failure from a source of fear into a stepping stone for success. The insights gained from failure are often more valuable than the success that eventually follows. A failed project, for example, may teach us more about effective planning, resource management, or teamwork than a successful one ever could. The process of dissecting failure, of understanding what went wrong and why, sharpens our analytical abilities and deepens our understanding of the complexities involved in achieving a goal. These insights are not fleeting, they become part of our mental framework, guiding us in future endeavors. Failure also fosters creativity and innovation. When our initial approach does not yield the desired results, we are forced to think differently, to experiment with new methods or perspectives. This willingness to innovate is a direct response to the discomfort of failure, as it pushes us out of our comfort zones and into uncharted territory. Many of the greatest breakthroughs in history, whether in science, art, or entrepreneurship, were born out of failures that spurred individuals to reimagine their approach. Furthermore, failure humanizes us. It strips away the facade of perfection, reminding us of our shared vulnerability. This vulnerability is not a weakness, but a bridge that connects us to others. When we share our experiences of failure, we create opportunities for empathy, understanding, and mutual support. These connections are invaluable, as they remind us that we are not alone in our struggles, and that failure is a universal aspect of the human experience. In the broader context of life, failure provides perspective. It challenges our assumptions about what truly matters, encouraging us to reevaluate our priorities and values. A setback in a career, for instance, might lead us to consider whether we are pursuing a path that aligns with our authentic selves or simply following societal expectations. This reevaluation is often a turning point, steering us toward goals that are more meaningful and fulfilling. The process of learning from failure is not always linear. There are moments when the weight of repeated setbacks can feel unbearable, leading to frustration or even despair. However, it is precisely in these moments that the seeds of growth are sown. Failure teaches us patience, the understanding that progress takes time, and that setbacks are not the end of the journey, but part of it. This patience allows us to approach challenges with a steadier mind and a calmer heart, qualities that are indispensable for long-term success. Failure also demands adaptability. When our initial plans fall apart, we must find new ways to move forward. This adaptability is a skill that extends beyond individual instances of failure. It becomes a mindset that prepares us to navigate the ever-changing circumstances of life. In this sense, failure is not merely a singular event, but an ongoing teacher, equipping us with the tools we need to thrive in an unpredictable world. Finally, failure cultivates self-awareness. It prompts us to reflect not only on our actions, but also on our motivations, fears, and aspirations. This introspection deepens our understanding of ourselves, revealing both our strengths and our areas for improvement. Through this process, we grow not just as professionals or creators, but as individuals, developing a richer sense of who we are and what we are capable of achieving. In the early stages of life, the paths we choose are often influenced by the voices around us rather than the voice within. Society, family, and culture project their expectations onto us, shaping what we believe success should look like. We adopt roles, ambitions, and ideals that may feel right in the moment, but are often disconnected from our true selves. It takes time, sometimes decades, to untangle these external influences and arrive at a sense of authenticity. This journey, while challenging, is vital because true and lasting success can only emerge from a place of alignment with one's genuine identity. When we are young, we are eager to prove ourselves, often measuring success by external markers such as wealth, recognition, or status. These metrics, while tangible, are not necessarily meaningful. They reflect society's values rather than our own, yet in our desire to fit in or stand out, we pursue them with zeal. A young professional might chase promotions, assuming that climbing the corporate ladder equates to fulfillment. An aspiring artist might prioritize popularity over personal expression, believing that audience approval defines their worth. In each case, the focus on external validation obscures the inner questions: what do I truly value? What brings me joy? The disconnect between external expectations and internal desires becomes increasingly apparent as we encounter the realities of the pursuits we undertake. A career that seemed glamorous from the outside may feel hollow once experienced from within. A goal that appeared noble may reveal itself as misaligned with one's principles or passions. These realizations are often unsettling, leading to periods of doubt, dissatisfaction, and self-reflection. However, they are also necessary steps in the journey toward authenticity. One of the reasons this process takes time is that authenticity is not something we discover all at once. It is an unfolding, a gradual peeling away of layers to reveal the core of who we are. In our early years, we often lack the perspective needed to differentiate between what we want and what we think we should want. The societal narratives that dominate our upbringing are deeply ingrained, making it difficult to question them. It is only through experience, both positive and negative, that we begin to see these narratives for what they are: constructs that may or may not serve us. Failure and setbacks play a critical role in this unfolding. When our externally motivated goals fail to bring the satisfaction we anticipated, we are forced to question their validity. A failed business venture, for instance, might prompt us to reevaluate whether profit was ever our true priority. A strained relationship might reveal the importance of values we had previously neglected. These moments of reckoning, though painful, create the space for introspection and realignment. They remind us that success is not merely about achieving, it is about achieving in a way that feels meaningful and true to who we are. As we grow older, we become more attuned to the quiet voice of our inner self. This voice often speaks in subtle ways, through feelings of discomfort, joy, or longing. Recognizing and honoring this voice requires courage, because it often calls us to deviate from the paths we have been taught to follow. A corporate lawyer might leave a lucrative career to become a teacher, drawn by a passion for shaping young minds. A successful entrepreneur might pivot to philanthropy, compelled by a desire to give back to the community. These shifts are not signs of failure, but of growth, of moving closer to a life that resonates with one's true self. Authenticity also requires vulnerability. To live authentically is to risk rejection, to acknowledge that not everyone will understand or support our choices. This risk is especially daunting in youth, when the need for acceptance is particularly strong. Over time, however, we learn that the approval of others, while comforting, is not essential. What matters is our ability to look at ourselves with honesty and integrity, to know that we are living in alignment with our values and aspirations. Another aspect of authenticity is the willingness to embrace change. Who we are is not static, it evolves as we grow and learn. What felt authentic at one stage of life may no longer feel so at another. This is not a contradiction, but a natural progression. Authenticity is not about clinging to a fixed identity, but about being open to the ongoing process of becoming. It is about honoring the truth of each moment, even as that truth changes over time. In the pursuit of authenticity, we often discover that success takes on a new definition. It is no longer about accolades or achievements, but about the quality of our experiences and relationships. It is about waking up each day with a sense of purpose and going to bed with a sense of peace. This redefinition does not negate the value of external success, it places it in context, ensuring that it serves rather than dictates our inner fulfillment. The journey to authenticity is deeply personal, yet it is also universal. Each of us, in our own way, must navigate the tension between external expectations and internal truth. This journey cannot be rushed, because it is not about reaching a destination, it is about uncovering and embracing who we are. Along the way, we shed the layers of pretense in performance, gradually becoming more comfortable in our own skin. In doing so, we pave the way for a form of success that is not only satisfying but sustainable, grounded in the unique essence of our being. The passage of time brings with it a wealth of experiences, each contributing to the subtle but profound transformation of an individual. With every interaction, challenge, and decision, we accumulate a reservoir of insights that shapes how we perceive the world and ourselves. This gradual accumulation of wisdom is not merely an incidental byproduct of living, it is the essence of growth. However, the depth and breadth of this wisdom cannot be rushed, for it requires time to mature, to settle into the crevices of our understanding, and to inform the choices we make. In youth, we often operate with limited experience, and while this is not a flaw, it does mean that our judgments and strategies are often based on assumptions rather than lived realities. Consider the young professional embarking on a new career. Armed with theoretical knowledge and enthusiasm, they approach their work with high expectations. Yet the complexities of office politics, the nuances of effective communication, and the unpredictability of market trends are lessons that only time can teach. No amount of preparation can substitute for the clarity that comes from navigating these challenges firsthand. Wisdom grows as we encounter the unexpected. Life rarely unfolds in the linear fashion we anticipate. Plans falter, circumstances change, and outcomes differ from expectations. Each deviation from the anticipated path becomes a lesson in adaptability. We learn to adjust not only our strategies, but also our perspectives, recognizing that flexibility is as important as determination. Through this process, we develop a deeper understanding of the interplay between control and surrender, realizing that while we can influence outcomes, we cannot dictate them entirely. Another crucial element of wisdom is the ability to reflect on one's experiences. In the rush of youth, there is often little time or inclination for reflection. The pace of life, coupled with the urgency to achieve, leaves little room for introspection. However, as we grow older, we come to appreciate the value of looking back, not to dwell on the past, but to derive insights from it. Reflection allows us to identify patterns, recognize mistakes, and appreciate progress. It is through this process that we transform experience into wisdom, using the past as a guide for navigating the present and future. Wisdom also arises from the gradual deepening of empathy. In our earlier years, we are often preoccupied with our own goals and struggles, viewing the world primarily through the lens of our individual experiences. Over time, as we interact with people from diverse backgrounds and witness a range of human experiences, our capacity for empathy expands. We come to understand that others face challenges we may never fully comprehend, and that their perspectives, though different from our own, hold value. This broadened perspective not only enriches our relationships, but also informs our decisions, enabling us to approach challenges with a more holistic understanding. Another aspect of wisdom that grows with time is the ability to discern what truly matters. In youth, it is easy to become consumed by the pursuit of external markers of success, wealth, recognition, or status. While these pursuits are not inherently wrong, they can sometimes obscure deeper values such as integrity, purpose, and connection. With time, we begin to see through the superficial allure of fleeting achievements, turning our attention to what brings genuine fulfillment. This shift in priorities is not a rejection of ambition, but a refinement of it, aligning our goals with our deeper values. The wisdom that develops over time also enhances our decision-making. In our earlier years, decisions are often driven by impulse or external pressures. We may act without fully considering the consequences, relying on intuition or the advice of others rather than our own discernment. With experience, however, comes the ability to weigh options more thoughtfully, to anticipate potential outcomes, and to make choices that align with our long-term goals. This is not to say that we become immune to mistakes, but our mistakes become fewer and less costly as our judgment improves. Time also teaches us the importance of patience. In youth, the desire for instant gratification often leads us to rush toward results, sometimes at the expense of quality or sustainability. As we grow older, we come to understand that meaningful achievements often require sustained effort and delayed rewards. This realization fosters a sense of patience, enabling us to persevere through challenges and remain committed to our goals, even when progress is slow. Patience, coupled with persistence, becomes a hallmark of wisdom, allowing us to navigate life's complexities with grace and resilience. The process of accumulating wisdom is not always linear or straightforward. There are moments of doubt, confusion, and even regression. However, these moments are themselves part of the journey, providing opportunities for deeper learning and growth. Each challenge we face, each setback we endure, adds to our understanding of the world and ourselves. Over time, this understanding coalesces into a form of wisdom that is not only intellectual but also emotional and intuitive. It informs how we think, how we feel, and how we act, shaping every aspect of our lives. Wisdom is not a destination but a continuous journey. It grows with us, evolving as we evolve, and adapting to the ever-changing circumstances of life. It is both a product of time and a testament to the richness of experience. The insights we gain, the lessons we learn, and the perspectives we develop over time become the foundation upon which we build a life of meaning and purpose. Through this gradual process, we come to appreciate the value of patience, the importance of reflection, and the beauty of growth, recognizing that wisdom is one of the most profound gifts of time. Human development is an intricate process, marked by countless internal and external transformations. Central to this evolution is the way we view and handle responsibility. In the early stages of life, responsibility is often imposed upon us by others, parents, teachers, or authority figures who define our obligations and guide our actions. We follow these directives without fully understanding their implications or the broader context they exist within. This phase, while necessary, represents a surface-level engagement with responsibility. It is only with time, maturity, and self-awareness that we come to appreciate the deeper significance of taking ownership of our lives and decisions. When we are young, responsibility can feel like a burden. The expectations placed upon us may seem overwhelming or unfair, particularly when we lack the perspective to see their purpose. A student might begrudge the need to study for exams, viewing it as a tiresome obligation rather than an opportunity to learn. A young employee might chafe under the weight of deadlines, perceiving them as stressors rather than chances to develop discipline and time management skills. This resistance to responsibility is not uncommon. It stems from a lack of understanding about how fulfilling one's duties contributes to personal growth and the broader fabric of life. As we grow older, however, our relationship with responsibility begins to shift. Through experience, we start to recognize the value of accountability. Life teaches us, often through trial and error, that the choices we make and the actions we take have consequences not just for ourselves but for those around us. A missed deadline at work, for instance, might disrupt a team's progress, while a careless decision in a relationship could strain trust. These experiences, while humbling, are essential for cultivating a sense of responsibility that goes beyond mere obligation. Responsibility, when embraced, becomes a source of empowerment rather than a source of stress. It is through taking ownership of our actions and decisions that we gain a sense of agency over our lives. Instead of feeling like passive participants in a world shaped by external forces, we begin to see ourselves as active contributors. This shift in perspective is transformative. It encourages us to approach challenges with a problem-solving mindset, to take initiative rather than waiting for others to act, and to hold ourselves accountable for our successes and failures alike. One of the most profound lessons of responsibility is that it extends beyond individual actions to encompass the impact we have on others. In youth, our focus is often inward, centered on our goals, desires, and struggles. Over time, however, we come to understand that our lives are interconnected with those of others. The way we fulfill our responsibilities influences not only our own outcomes, but also the well-being of those around us, family, friends, colleagues, and even strangers. This realization deepens our commitment to acting with integrity and thoughtfulness, as we recognize the ripple effects of our choices.